how much Cote d'Ivoire is even buying. I'm going to do a lot of presentation today. Yenti Cote d'Ivoire for
bearable wait. For 2 months, not a single kilo of cocoa produced by farmers of this cooperative here in Agbonville has been sold.
The cocoa is still stored there.
But we have problems. My child's in hospital, so we really need to be paid. The children haven't been to school either.
You're right, calm down. The problems will be resolved soon.
This is a problem affecting the whole of the Ivory Coast. It's the world's top cocoa producer, and a quarter of the population relies on the industry for their livelihood. The government has promised to buy back the cocoa from cooperatives. The cost of this delay, however, is already being felt.
There's a risk of mold, so we have to take the cocoa out each time, dry it, and then put it back in the bags to be pelletized again. That costs even more money. There's also the risk of theft. We were victims of theft in November. We lost a lot of cocoa.
100 tons of cocoa are being stored in this particular warehouse awaiting sale. This is only a third of what is produced here in this area by farmers. Some have sold off their stock at bargain prices outside of legal channels, while others watch their produce rot away.
All of this is just wasted cocoa pods that we're going to throw away.
the video Cote d'Ivoire no we nya Ghana Cote d'Ivoire no enti one was the hit no and hit Ghana ko ase ne Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia kan no world problem ba enja country bi enko country bi enokware Cote d'Ivoire for so na etia no aban ni ntimi nto cocoa no enti aban no what three things pa kan chi cocoa farmers three things ba ko ne say on ntimi nto cocoa no yen ko ton cocoa no 2700 embeto emma wo 3000 something enye aban ne se yen kan no kora nchi cocoa for say enye 2 se mo pese mo nya sika uto cocoa aban to cocoa no timi tua okade a accept the current price enye sa aban ne beto ne old price no ye to cocoa a ukwa crash na ji cocoa no ba unya kapre. That is the second one. And then the third thing is say you better reduce your money and you timi that sustain the economy no other than that economy ne be jiagu. That is the third thing. But cocoa farmers and so they also have a point because I need to cut here because my papa atiase no cocoa farmer men na atiase no cocoa farmer and now because men na ba cocoa or me ma me hwe so a cocoa farmer. So I understand. I live in a community of cocoa farmers bebre ye me namfo me kisa don na me minim do but me anka say me ni cocoa afu ni be there but I have a lot of friends that omu cocoa afu and the cocoa farmers no say anka kira man say anasa wo so oji cocoa na o de kwa man sedwa so na etuma wo so metu ebuo num o ma ebo ba akopɛ and which is also true. Ghana aban also nema ni bi ho aban no so enye me nka say John Mahama aban o aban abatwam they are no straight with the cocoa farmers. All right, last time I heard Munufie, the NDC government communicators should try and explain exactly what the relative to cocoa farmers, else the NPP will do politics with it. Yes, that is why I will say sometimes I have a problem. NDC about Kunya, so I have a problem with them. But some of them might not understand as I'm now working. Well, the honest truth is say, I deal with Yatna sema mera kalabwaje cocoa farmers no cocoa afuom. But the CEO of cocoa cocoa board not it Peace FM. No accountable already no explaining. Abra you need to go to the cocoa farmers and explain to them. E wa kan kasa omote. Se okona da gate phone wo show maka da gate kasa se bono phone wo show maka bono kasa asantile kan santi kasa sa chimni ya kan chimni kasa kire no. Ba ko tene Peace FM na ko ka bro for ha na tias ma wo kan. Because explanation ya me ni padodo say ni nim say amanse dwa so kwa no a ton of cocoa a ton just $4,000 and I calculate the bar in $4,000 no in ton no so what the bag is 64 kilos na e $2,714 per dollars and say what the best CDs are I mean can say how many people are taking their time to explain these kind of things to cocoa farmers? Oh, of course, but they are already doing politics. But I have minding a man who can among the politics. I would say sometimes because when the are buying all Tony man of cocoa farmers, you need to tell them, okay, see in the year to Adena. I'm going to say just say na Adena. But Ghana buying will problem be. I mean, can't say mention Ghana over bruchira. Meaning, I think the majority of mama here no padodo na to me bruchire. based on my analysis in the US, UK for motor me pa. Why in the corner school Abruchi aban kan chance we school me kwan me for adwuma. Let's be honest with ourselves. Abruchi why in the ANS or ha aban in the same agreement say bond say we are just a men kwan me for adwuma. Obi ani hot me for adwuma. That is why when you go to Ghana, nurses we school no move sugu aban so ba oba Abruchi na we nurse no we school take your certificate maybe be nya adwuma bia ye bi. Of course, but that is what they should do. They should also go to the cocoa farmers. Because you be a campaign. Some major film to me call northern region. Eko jina dam na another so a dam na one to dam bian. Eko jina dam number akum a campaign. Explanation the Ghana for feeling the gadoki. You jina hona camera down. So they who say say na dag out in the microphone ye. Enye dam no ye. Why are they not doing the same thing to the cocoa farmers now? You should go to the cocoa farmers and explain to them. Say hey, enuanom amansebia so cocoa ni say yemto. Because consider you know alternative to cocoa no. People don't know say cocoa na ye produce no. And ya Ghana na the world largest producer of cocoa. Oba Africa who the best for no Ghana is second. Cote d'Ivoire for the team beat Ghana the times 3. Many people don't know. Maybe let me check. I think I did that research. And I can give you Cote d'Ivoire produce cocoa in Ghana. But how many people know? Any at home there be a Ghana do cocoa ni yasan de galam say chemicals na say Ghana cocoa ni na kwa man say just obi asonto. I feel it one use. Sometimes we need to understand all these kind of things because man say just na one no. Enya agro ni yedi o. Wo de ne oniema wo kudua cocoa no wa say cocoa beans na gu ship no wa ship de kwa bruchira. Wo kwa pa ye nto. Ya nto cocoa so ye nwe. Cocoa kwa ne ye nyam fa nyitin. Aha. E dis ye nim dia sa na be ye. Enti mama nka se me chiro ene 64 kilos of cocoa no. Cocoa bag bear is 64 kilo any gum. Oh yeah. Now say your time and say just $4,000 and as we speak, you know, it is amount to $2,560 per bag. 265, sorry. 265 because the whole you can say ton no. You better $4,000 into divided by 64 now, a 265 per. So cocoa bag is 65 kilos a be $260. And now I know can say that is the current market price. If I'm going so fast and so you can also tell me. Priscilla, I don't know what is wrong with them. They are quiet. I don't know PCFM, what in crying. I'm on post no be I can cry. I'm on for more. John Wood, the Ghanaians don't read nor research, therefore they consume lies purported by the politicians and it's dangerous. But your Ghana, 90% na school. Mama go school no. Kakra bi ne o ka asem kire mama timi di code o. Ka so ko research. Ghana ni kita phone internet also. What is the TikTok no cool lumba phone ho. Lumba wo yesi no ye ko ne ho. Ko mama we lumba yi na nipa go to we the same phone the same internet no. On van go research. Na or it no the ku phone ho. Ah obi e wu. Ni ya jiji scan da ko papa shi na wadi. Akwanzo onya hwe mo bia. Use your brain in Yankopon there, man. We need to use it as a people. It is a life. I said, minimum say Kenya, 70 people in the Bible. Barbara Yana Quasiana were Jimmy no so for Roger Abwa, and people go no more. None of them will come and consume better content. They go and feed upon lies. That is what they want. But of course, we are doing our best. Kakarana Yona Eniati, Nimsa do now so better. Akobama ne. Oba Africa, Cote d'Ivoire, whatever, me for the best 4 cocoa producing countries in Africa. Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Nigeria, and Cameroon. As I make Cote d'Ivoire cocoa a producer. I think the Togo to produce cocoa. And as Sierra Leone, you be Liberia, Guinea, Sao Tome, a lot of Uganda for Tanzania, you need cocoa. And you are competing with a lot of people. It is a way Ghana was on our cocoa, and then now Tanzania, then they're about Teswa. You also forced to reduce your own. And then the panel to cocoa, so only Nima de to cocoa in that way. And you are all turning our bachelor. We are always at the losing end. Because about Africa, I keep telling African countries, say we need to shift the dynamics. But when you are teaching people that they don't learn. African, they man produce African tournament, say just no. It be no way they determine how much you're gonna sell it. But rather than a nipa na all tono and a chill how of a tono. If I shall be honest with ourselves, let's do this kind of calculation. let's be honest with ourselves. If a ton of cocoa is $4,000, one bag kakaraka of cocoa no $265. Yes, $256. Cocoa bag kakaraka no 64 kilos no. Cocoa obi adua cocoa be 1 year. Cocoa dua cocoa I think it take 3 years and start ati. Tiensem ni yo. Sometimes we need to say this kind of things to our people. Udua cocoa Ghana 3 years. Odua cocoa kete 3 years and start cocoa was ati. Otia obebo cocoa no wakoti obegusu nso sa chemicals e consume obeti cocoa no akobo akokataso akogu apaso amanaho wasese egu bagim asoa ukosehwie so cocoa 1 bag 64 no e woni papampam no da ko krache ho na krache na koje na aban abeto so manipa so na pampam e de egu flat body or articulator so adrive abatema ipacho tianso na mekaniye e de batema ana takura do whatever ya be shipi e was ship no so because buronyi na aye Ghana ye ni ship ye nya ship da aso de ba burochire the whole 64 kg of cocoa nya $256. Bacho iPhone ba ko yesen bacho wa hwe me fa answer na mame Priscilla iPhone 17 Pro Max ba ko boy yesen in the comment section bacho mo me answer iPhone 1 say 1 the bacho me twe o me answer mo me kakare ye nya adwuma no ha na yenko because ya nya ne sa agoro no Ghana ni no kasa ye ntiase o kanya nsasam kire onua Ghana ni no na ye dojo iPhone 17 Pro Max mpacha 1 boy yesen wow the baba no we are nobody divide say cocoa bag no dodo say na beto iPhone baako cocoa bag na $256 no mpacha dodo say ba shiri dodo say na oton a ebeto ma iPhone baako enti say kwasi bronyi ko Ghana bronyi e wa iPhone e ko Ghana o kita suitcase na cocoa iPhone 17 Pro Max 10 eshema ebetimi ato cocoa articulator ma. I don't know if I'm not making sense. If I'm making sense, or you can in the comment section. So wait my boy me. Wait my boy me. Hajia. You sure say we US right? iPhone Pro Max about your US motor is saying $1 and Canada motor is saying. Let's do this kind of things and then tell the government we need to shift the dynamics and the focus from where we are. Yeah, free for acquire the cocoa by the first thing. Tete kwashi. Time. ABC and there, we need to shift the dynamics. There need to be a paradigm shift. That is why I applaud our current finance minister. Was it cocoa? No, we need to make sure say we process about 50% of cocoa locally. And I think that we need to do more. Mary Louise, was it £1,200? Yes. But we are not divided. Say cocoa bag kakana process we no. $256. I don't send a bit of amount. £1,200. Amount that one iPhone. I would say the system. We are not thinking. Africans, we are not thinking. See, at the African, then another question is iPhone no. Nipa no ye iPhone no. And a chira of wow de beto. And I say wow koto na oche ne wow de beto o beton. Meaning as what I say. Also 256 gig of iPhone no. 19,500 to 21,000 Ghana cedis. But cocoa bono and 22,007. Do those na dibinya. Yes. Oh, Priscilla. It just a grown yet African yedi. Africa sometimes maybe African when me tipa me. African for you serious. We need to shift. Na there be amu jehona cocoa. Me pacho wow why business da. Let's be honest with ourselves. So what ton dia wow ton no e na o kire boa wo ton no anase ne ye beto na kire boa beto. Yes so cocoa ne da guship ko do abrochire na broyi na kire se cocoa ya mode aba no sei na meto no. O se da bia o se ne fa cocoa o de na cocoa ne be ye. Ghana ya tena Ghana sa fi ne se ye pay systems ye be produce ye be process 50% of Ghana cocoa. Yinim ba de cocoa ne ye Ghana. In the comment section, Fabra, why not Ghana? Was it through the year? No, what did chocolate 5 bar of chocolate? Why not Ghana? Only mobile what did chocolate in qua 5? Ye niku chocolate. Unti cocoa ni ma de ye. Ye nim se cocoa no what boy we kwano cocoa ura kwano. Ye nim se the year and sa. Ye tim the year a lot of things. Ye tim the year a seminar, it means the year duro, it means the year juice, a lot of things. But how many of us are even doing it? Alas, I was saying, Munufie, your analysis is right. If one bag of cocoa is $256, then iPhone price tag can buy a lot of cocoa bags. Exactly. Hey, me say okay, the iPhone 10, it means to articulate a map of Ghana cocoa and a Ghana cashew. And a Ghana buying a peer you for the cocoa planting for food and jobs. Someone not. More articulate a man that kwaje one iPhone. As a fact on fight, so bro. Yeah, sometimes no. I see a kind of criteria home. African countries, we are lagging behind. You can't, we are seeing young count. We are seeing up in 2,000 years and a year we are watching. Yeah, Africa. O company for Inti, and I'm calling in about them. And they call TikTok. No more. She said, I look we to be, and no more. Yeah. And we in the MCM, then we style we see we, and far we ready pan. We are not called an admin. Tipa, or no Kogana, Yari, come on for a stroke. Against an admin, nothing, no more Jeffrey in Timoba. System na Pascal. We need to sometimes one will say, see a new opportunity on live streams here. We need to do this kind of analysis and this kind of discussions. Because there were a lot of countries ever breach that when you look at the population and things they do, now to compare African countries as African and minimum in Yankopa Maya Adria. Africa no, minimum in Yankopa Maya Adria. Okay, I'm telling you, so Ghana is see kakakana da hono. Machine ye di detect se Ghana see no obi amfa submarine me wura ase ana China ni bi mfa ship me si so matwen ye fish in koye no. It was being donated to Ghana by Finland. Finland population is 5.5. Ask Haruna Idrisu, or Haruna Idrisu. And then, sorry, Haruna Idrisu in accident and it was a very sad situation. But the emphasis are a bomb by a man who umpire Bobby and Bobby Abwa or Nabo Haruna Idrisu because accident, it was a very big accident, very tough one. Yeah, some. And the countries that produce cocoa African a dozen. And ya Ghana nkwa. And this will be Tenasa say Ghana cocoa na dena. Omobwa Cote d'Ivoire produce cocoa in Ghana. But we don't know. Cote d'Ivoire cocoa ne produce no Ghana yem produce bi. Na say na American cocoa born na drop no enya Ghana ko Cote d'Ivoire nyina account mo nyina nti ne obi etia. But be able to be a farmers in it because I buy any near the money cocoa near and I some American a African in a yari no. African was our problem no. You do cocoa ne for cocoa in your way. Yeah, some. Yeah, some. Oh. Here, Cote d'Ivoire cocoa beans export in 2024 no. Now 4,878 metric tons. Ghana, yeah, the name yes, 1 point something people say, yeah, Ghana you produce cocoa biao. Cocoa na if you afford doing in kete. Any other. And we need to sit now as a people. Na you say once cocoa na ya do they betting the cocoa na ye. Farmers we need to give them better education. Na yansan kan no kware so enchire omo. That is my problem. I buy na mabako nyano. Mama mfa cocoa farmers say say o menyan kwasafo because I buy na wakoto cocoa farmer no cocoa no. Uwi na woman scholarship. Cocoa farmer buy the man pension. Omo obi ahwe. Why are we doing that? Ghana. But anyway, in the comment section, I think I'll be very, very happy. But I was very shocked. Say, Ashanti region could be cocoa farmers. No, some of them were happy. So of course they have understood that some are buying actually no. They are happy because are buying also a bomb to cocoa no e momo. But you yenti cocoa farmer way.
Asida kese ne de mama no bi se amamu no ba bia anya duro no ye hu bia hu afi ba ko obedi ye no ye hu nwuma pa wasate eye na mpanyimfo aka se dua batabo so ya na hu na odi adwuma ma na so anipa ya ba kakra ni na se kokoo nsensemo e ba yi but won so enya ne fomso kokoo no em se mrofo na omu eye hu dwumadie kese na se omu na edie yeni abibifo yeni enti so omde bo no firi ho ba enya de a wo se etimi to o ma ne suntudia the Umbecano, near to your dissonant mamma Yasundri. Nti yɛte sɛ ate so wɔ aburokyima mu no akuafo ne yɛhwɛ sɛ nkaba no bɛte so ama ne dwumadie no atima kɔntɛntɛm na nso ɛsan sɛ wɔno wɔdwene Ghanafoɔ ho nti na nka wɔka ne siesisi sɛ wɔbɛfa kwan bi aboa akuafoɔ ɛm sɛ wɔyɛ yɛ a ɛntimi anso mu nti sɛ wɔhwɛ na wɔte so na bɛtumi aboa ama wɔtumi anya sika de atua akuafoɔ no koko no ayɛtɔ no a ɛbɛtumi ama akuafoɔ no anya anigyeɛ paa ɛwɔ no mu sen sɛ ɔbɛyɛ no adwene sɛ ɔpɛ sɛ ɔboa akuafoɔ no na akuafoɔ no kɔ ho kyerem because koko adwuma no ɛya sɛ kuani bɛsɔ sika mu adɔ koko ase ɛfiri buro nyaberɛ bɛsi saa mmere na wɔntumi nya sidi baako koraa sɛ ɔde bɛtɔ hwee no ɛne yɛte so koraa na yɛmaa no 10 million koraa mefi sɛ ɔbɛhunu sɛ ɔnni haw mu nti no deɛ aban no ɔmmɔmmɔden na deɛ mmɔfo no ate so no adu no ɔn so deɛ ɔhwɛ a ɔte so a ɛbɛtumi ama no atua ne ntɛntɛm no ɔntua na akuafoɔ no ho nhaeɛ na afei so no adwuma pa a ɔyɛ no akuafoɔ no ntumi nya anigyeɛ ɛwɔ no mu.
Exactly. Nti cocoa farmers say Ashata region papa ya kasa ma me boato me yam. Also ma hu ade a John the Money Mama's administration eye. Nti cocoa bo no office obeto ama mo boato me yam bia no onto ombo ento me yam. E ba jama me ma history analysis bi. Côte d'Ivoire as of 2024 it produced 1674 kt of cocoa. Meanwhile Ghana producing only 449 kt per. Nigeria 350 and a Cameroon 320 per. So Côte d'Ivoire cocoa no production is about times 4 of that of Ghana. These are analysis na me we should go and ask Kojo Ponkoman say Moshe cocoa farmers a chiso mo demonstration no. E dey nyansa asem na wo ka kire mo. Or do you think that particular demonstration no say a boy NPP is it going to help Ghana? Sometimes we need to go deep down like this and then talk to them because most of them no as I gain no may hear from the team. May adwene no afi omo team. And as I said, say a ton of cocoa, you ton of $4,000. Now say a bag of cocoa is 64. What the 4,000 multiply 0.064, which is the 64 kg now. About only $256 per bag. It's $56 and I'll convert the bag and it's come out. Now about 2,800 and something. Yeah, of course, I'll ask some cocoa farmers do understand. But the one who say majority of them no. Say NPP for no edio machi ekodim trochiroma. They will believe in them. They will understand them. So that is the problem. What I say? So sometimes I say yan three of what say anchechiro money say ya the problem. So I was expecting NDC abane say answer say we go back cocoa farmers say tiana monto moto cocoa muntu e kadende no. We should have gone to them first. And since getting sema NPP for a cotton foot to go many answer a basi babe cheromo. We should have gone to them first because buy no was said no. So I don't know the Minister of Communication and Information, the minimal depot on moye. Maybe there's something they are doing, but maybe they mean said them who are the moye there. But sometimes it's always like that because Nyamani bi ho one yen is answer and because Abino needs to be learning from their mistakes and then build upon this kind of mistakes and then move on. I don't know that and the problem be Abino because majority of NDC voters in area form anytime you give the opportunity for NPP to hit them and then do some jandam with them, a told mutim and no. What's the son of baby ends? But that is how it's gonna go. And see, say I'm here you can't. The problem never the problem never Now Ghana buy some of the things we have be straight and frank with the cocoa farmers. Momonti adena way and I say so one moment tiasia the be no base explaining who explaining and ya the idea. And see so be any question about whatever I've said so far but in the comment section or me there now a lot of education on it. Because sometimes I want us to get it onto the education platform say you bet me ama young as a people ye hu niema ekoso na see hu niema ekoso ni we are then I think say young ha because we need to get to a point and yet there be an politics here na me ye din tro chira manfo there be sometimes no citizens now so hu no kore no na by ourselves no yes we yetimi entisa aban kwa na ko be ka kire ye President on the other hand, they should desist from threats, cause Galamsey will be hooded if they are not sustained in their mining, while other regions are being prepared to do cocoa farming in the future. And the China for cocoa, China, they're producing cocoa there. And look at the population of China. This year, transfer China in the Ghana, see, that's what I know was cocoa farming. No, look, producing the mass, but I don't know quite better. And I ask cashew farmers, the Ghana cashew cry and Toby Mo. No more, no more to Hoka, will be on top. So, those are some of the things that we need to start to speak this particular language to our people. But say, young candia, it has something about because me, when I saw the news, cocoa boy, I told me, I'm saying, I did that some beba. But that is how it's going to go. But the NPP for a high pay this particular issue. And I could job on command tell you the boss cocoa farmers should even go on demonstration.
All of this has come about because of the reset that Cocoa Board did. And that is why, respectfully, we ask the president to relieve the Cocoa Board CEO of his responsibilities at this point in time. Number two, we are asking the government that in previous times when cocoa prices fell and the government absorbed the shock and protected the cocoa farmer, the NDC government should absorb the cost of what they have done and protect the cocoa farmer and restore at least the 3,625 that they promised. This 2,800 or so that they are promising is totally unacceptable. Already we are receiving messages from cocoa farmers who say that if this is what is going to happen, they are going to demonstrate in a number of these. And if they do, we in this caucus, we will join them on the streets to do this demonstration. We thank you for this.
I am even surprised that the IMF is sleeping over this. Because we developed this strategy in consultation with the IMF as a requirement, one of the requirements for implementing the IMF program. I'm really surprised that the IMF has gone to sleep on this. And this government is recklessly managing the cocoa sector, which has brought us to this unprecedented crisis in the sector. Given the scale of the crisis in the sector now, a sector which is one of the most important pillars of our economy. One expected the government to give Cocoa Board a bailout, as we did during the MPP time, rather than reducing the producer price for cocoa. A bailout would have been necessary, rather than reducing the producer price for cocoa. A bailout would have been necessary, particularly at the time we are told that the economy is strong and resilient. They said they are better managers of the economy. An economy that is better managed cannot pay cocoa farmers. An economy that is better managed reduces the producer price of cocoa.
They want to capitalize on tiny things to win political points. Buy more NPP. 8 good years. 8 good years. What did to 1 year? So that is why we're gonna tell them. And then the best you have, Charlie. Let me the best you have. Or China, I will have full day. And then me call Jumaka currently. It kept me over there. I think these days, I have some schedule to be traveling around here. Mama, a bit late, but China the next day it was be there. I'll be on time, 7:30 Ghana time. So be a bit me at consuming every possible content. Alasa, Tahiru, they are also doing jandam. Say, Omanya jandam money BBI. So that is the only thing they know how to do. But let's leave them because Ghana need no correct until we build the society.